Hey everybody, Tom Barnes here. Stories from the 78 at Smash Studios at the Music Building. That's what you're looking at, this very unassuming building along the train tracks here at the edge of the Fulton Market District in Chicago, right off of Carroll and Loomis. And some of Chicago's biggest bands have played here. Some of the world's biggest bands have rehearsed here, recorded here. I mean, they have a whole laundry list when you walk in and you see all these bands that are recorded here and you're like, how did I not know about this? That's why we do this video, because bands as big as Billy Idol or Taylor Swift big, to bands that are, folk or bagpipers, they all want space to record in, space to rehearse in, and that's what they can do here. So I'm going to talk to Clay with Smash Studios, and we're going to get a little bit more about this awesome spot here in the Fulton Market for this story from the 78. So you're looking at one of the showcase studios here at the Music Building in Smash Studios, and I'm here with the owner, my friend Clay. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I've lived in Chicago my whole life, and I've never heard of this space, and you guys have only recently taken it over and changed up the name a little bit. But the building's been here for a while, and what you do here has been here for a while. But why don't you explain who you guys are and what you do here?
That's great. Thanks so much, and thanks for having me on.
Sure.
The building used to be called the Music Garage. Very similar to a model that my partner in New York and I had between the Music Building and Smash Studios. We then took over this building. We purchased the building approximately 18 months ago. And since then, we've taken what they did really, really well, and we hope have made it even better.
So what exactly happens here? I know you have monthly and hourly studios. For the common folk who don't know what that means, could you just a high level elaboration of that and what you guys do here?
Absolutely. So for the average musician, the term a monthly studio, which is really a long-term rental, and an hourly studio, which could be hourly, daily, weekly, is pretty common. But to really make it simple for anyone who would want to understand what we do here, it's kind of like a parking lot.
Okay.
So you have, in a parking lot, you have monthly parkers, and then you have cars that come in and just do by the day or by the hour. The difference is, in our hourly studios, they're fully equipped with all the great gear that you see behind me.
Yeah, you gave me a little tour earlier where we walked through a bunch of the hourly ones on the first floor. But in this entire building, the showcase studio is up on the 5th floor?
Correct.
And it's surrounded by how many studios total you have in this?
So we have 115 studios in our 60,000 square foot building.
And we're here in the West Loop, and people might think, wait a minute, where do they have room to build something like this in the West Loop? It was here before the West Loop was kind of the West Loop, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're right at the fringe of Fulton Market. And we're thrilled to be in this area because there is a sense of the arts. The Soho House is nearby. The creative area is really this area of the city.
Yeah, similar to like the meatpacking neighborhood in Manhattan. That's what this neighborhood was.
Oh, 100%.
Up until like the 70s in full force, right? So there's a lot of grit, there's a lot of change happening, a lot of art has blossomed out of that. And it's a fun neighborhood nonetheless, right?
No doubt. Restaurants, bars, and the Music Building and Smash Studios.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as what people can do here, now bands typically would use this space to what?
So typically, well, I think it's a combined sort of answer because our building, the monthly rooms are a combination of bands that have their own rooms with their own gear in it for rehearsals, recording, what have you, and producers that have recording studios. That's our sort of monthly business, as the Music Building is in New York as well. Then the hourly side of the business, which is what Smash Studios then encompasses, is predominantly rehearsals, but within that space, people do dance rehearsals, they do recording, audio recording, they do video production.
And for folks, Chicagoans that might know, like the Fine Arts Building downtown for art and a different kind of art, I should say, of painters or musicians that make the instruments. This is primarily for performance artists, who are in a band or dancing.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a place to hone your skills, for the most part.
And when bands rent these spaces, it comes with the gear that you see around you. This is the showcase studio that we mentioned. So a band probably can get real cozy in here for a while, right?
Yes. A showcase room usually is a place that people make their temporary home. They'll come for a number of hours in a day, never a short period of time usually, or a full day, which is a lockout, or a multi-day lockout, which could be a week or 2 weeks or what have you. And in those situations, theater groups will come in and use the room. We clear out all the gear and they just have an empty room and they use it for their theater production to practice before they might get on stage. Or it's a band going on tour, or it's a band getting ready to go in the recording studio and they're practicing what they're doing to really get it right. So when they get in the studio, they can really hit it hard.
But this space can also flex a little bit and also be a recording studio for some of these bands. Some of these
100%. I mean, you'll hear the acoustics just from us speaking right now that it sounds great in this room. Yeah. To record in this studio, you're not going to find a better room to record in. Probably, I wouldn't say that in all of Chicago, but in many places within the Chicago limits. And it is a great room to shoot video in. In fact, we're about to launch a podcast sort of TV show called Smash Showcases in Chicago. We've already done it in New York. And the whole goal behind that is to shine a spotlight on up-and-coming artists in Chicago. We want to be a part of the community. We want to help the community, and we want to help the music community grow in the best way we can. And we feel that that could be a great vehicle to help.
Yeah, I mean, you have like a little wall of fame or a wall of who's been here, right?
That is correct.
Artists that have gone, who are literally in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or on their way, or just musicians in general that are just great, either Chicago musicians, global musicians, but that's kind of the whole point, to start them young and cultivate a culture here in Chicago that puts a cherry on top of what's already here.
Agreed. You've said that perfectly, Tom.
Off the top of my head.
Yes, that was awesome. And yeah, the goal is everyone that comes to the music building or to Smash Studios, they want to feel like they're a rock star. And I say a rock star, but that could be someone in rap or that could be someone in theater. But you want to be the best of the best, right? So our goal with our lighting and our gear and the rooms acoustically designed the way they are is to offer the space for someone to get to that point or thrive if they're already there.
Yeah, and I just walking through the space and seeing the studios, and it's a very warm, comforty feeling. I imagine, is it similar to what people can expect in New York City with the property there?
Absolutely. We have modeled our whole design on what we've done in New York for almost 4 decades, both the music building and Smash Studios. I think music building is over 4 decades. And bring it here. And it's funny, we have a saying within Smash and the music building, it's all about the vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can't create vibe. It just got to be there. Right. And by the way, that's a lot of the artists that are in our building here as monthlies, as long-term renters that have been here for a long time, and just the vibe you get off of the rooms themselves.
Right, and I imagine in New York, the vibe of the neighborhood, very much the vibe of this neighborhood, lots of things happening. It's like melting pot within a melting pot.
Correct, very similar. And actually, the areas that both studios are in are super similar and really hustle and bustle, but very artsy as well.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask some of the bands or artists that have played in New York or used your facilities in New York or here in Chicago. I know that you have some that people would know fairly well. Why don't you list a couple just for fun here?
So the music building, for example, many people have seen that Madonna slept in a studio when she was, achieving her fame. That's the music building. There is a new documentary coming out right now about Billy Idol, and he had a room, a monthly or a long-term rental at the music building. And, just greatness as eminent comes out of that building. And at Smash, we have everybody still to this day, from Paul McCartney to J-Lo to now I got to think of some newer artists. Oh, The Weeknd and Harry Styles and Post Malone and
People you're seeing headlining festivals and their own tours, respectively.
Absolutely.
I mean, that speaks to the volume or to the pool that this particular business has. Why do you, in your words, why do you think artists decide to come and use your facilities, both New York or Chicago, versus something on their own or other facilities? Like, what stands out? Is it what you talked about the vibe?
The vibe is super important, and I think that for musicians, I think that can't be understated. But I think it's also the quality of the studios that we have in both cities. The quality of the gear that we have, the relationships we have with companies that sponsor our studios. So Mapex sponsored these drums. Sennheiser sponsored the microphones. Chauvet Lighting sponsored the lighting. We think those relationships, Sabian, sorry, I have to say Sabian because the owner of the company is a good friend of mine, Andy Zildjian. AZ, what up? But without those relationships, we couldn't have the quality that we have of equipment that we want to offer to the artists. So when they come in, whether they're famous or they're getting there, right? Or they're a weekend warrior. They're just, Wall Street guys or people that work at Google and they just want to jam. We want to offer them a space that they can come into, that they can easily just find their lane. That basically they don't have to worry about the sound. They don't have to worry about the lighting. They don't have to worry about the gear. And one other point that I think is super important is staffing.
I was about to ask you that. You have people here who will help with a phone call, literally old school phone in the studio where they can call and be like, hey, this is too hot. Can you come and fix this for me?
That is correct. And, so in line with that, one of the things that makes Smash unique is that we do that. The level of customer service that we have in New York and in Chicago is unparalleled. And one of the reasons for that is that we put this phone system in so that in any studio you're in, within any of our spaces, any of our studios, in both cities, you can just literally pick up the phone, it rings the front desk, and you can say, hey man, I need help with the sound, or I need a microphone cable, or I need a this, that, or the other, or I need a soda. And we will bring it to them and set them up.
And as far as the two names, why the two names for folks who are like, wait a minute, is it a this or is it a that? What's the difference between the two names for the Chicago property there?
I think that's maybe the most important thing and something I'm very proud of. The music building, which is iconic in New York, the owner of the building was a man named Jack Lerner, who sadly passed away while we were closing on this building. And Jack came to me about, I hate to say, but 30 years ago, and said, Clay, I'm thinking about doing a music building in Boston, and I don't know anything really about the studios themselves except about building nice studios for bands to have their own gear in. Would you do a Smash in my building and we do the building together? It never happened.
What does he mean by do a Smash?
So do the hourly rooms, we do recording in New York, and all the services we offer, which is not something the music building offers, right? That's a Smash Studios thing.
The music building is just the housing of all of the studios, essentially?
Correct. That is correct. 100%.
Got it.
And Jack came to me about this Boston idea, and it didn't go through, which was fine. But his son I met at the time, Roger, who he was 12, I think, or 13 years old at the time, and now he's 43 years old. And Roger and I are partners in this building now, 30 years later, something his father came up with, and he and I have now brought to fruition.
And that's what we have here today.
Yeah, we have bringing together these two iconic companies in the music industry into one building in Chicago and offering just unparalleled studios and service.
And how about as far as bands that are looking or watching this to get in here, what do they have to do?
Oh, well, you can go to musicbuilding.com and or smashstudios.com and get to either that you're looking for, and we work together, of course, because we're partners, in the monthly and the hourly.
Right on.
So we will hook you up, so to speak.
Clay, thanks so much for taking time to chat with me. I appreciate it very much. And you guys just, when did this officially become this entity that it is today?
We opened 18 months, it was April of 2024.
All right, so we're rolling right now.
We are rolling, man.
Right on. All right, and do you have any bands that are in-house now or coming, or that you can talk? We probably can't even talk about.
I hate to say it, before they come, we can never say.
Yeah, okay, I kind of figured. But either way, bands of all kinds, and not just the bands that you mentioned, the Billy Idols of the world or Madonna, but it also be, you mentioned even bagpipes.
Oh yeah,
you're not discriminating. It's any
no.
band or musician or artist that wants to come in, you got a space for them.
Absolutely. If you're a dancer, you play in a thrash band, or you are a hip hop artist, or you play bagpipes, you can come to us here, and we have the studio for you.
Right on. Thank you. All right, that is Smash Studios at the Music Building here in the Fulton Market. Tom Barnes, Chicago at gmail.com. If you have a story from the 78 suggestion, hit me up there. Go to website storiesfromthe78.com. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching.